Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, and today we're going to be looking at a forgotten item card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You see, I pride myself on this channel looking at all of the cards. And we forgot an item. And partly we forgot the item because it wasn't supposed to be good. And partly we forgot an item because it was revealed at the same time as all of Sun and Moon 8, which happened to be the same weekend as the World Championships was happening. Let's say it was a spectacularly busy time for Pokemon news, but that's not really much of an excuse, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's have a look at Energy Spinner. Now, of course, it's been translated by the lovely David Hochmann over at limitlesstcg.com/translations, and it actually came around as a gym promo, and it came around at roughly the same time as the Alolan Marowak GX that we looked at, I believe, on the second day of Worlds. And it wasn't supposed to be good, but it's just been featured in a deck that did pretty gosh darn well at the National Championships, or not the National Championships, but the Champions League they call it in Tokyo. And to be blunt, it's a good card and I expected to see more play. But what's you're yelling at your screen /phone /whatever, what does it actually do? Well, it allows you to search for one basic energy. Yes, not terribly impressive, although actually it is useful. We'll get to that in a second. But if you went second, and it's your first turn of the game, you may search your deck for 3 basic energy cards instead. That's really nice, we'll get to that in a moment. But here's the thing, we are moving into a format that we haven't had for a very long time. And that is a format without Energy Search. You see, Energy Search is one of these cards that's just always been in the format. Search your deck for a basic energy, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But the last time we actually had a print of Energy Search was in Boundaries Crossed, which was quite some time ago. Well, that's alright, you might be thinking, and in a way it is. Because you see, it's not been a huge problem that we've not had Energy Search, because we've had Professor's Letter, which is like 2 energy searches. And remember, when you're searching your deck is secret, so if you only want to search for 1 basic energy, then search for 1 basic energy. It's really not a big problem. So that's okay. We've had Professor's Letter. But you see, Professor's Letter is rotating out. An Energy Search is a card that we haven't had for a while, and we're still not actually having it. And now we're in this situation where we don't have it anymore. It originally came around, I believe, in the Fossil expansion. We've had Energy Search for quite some time. And then it kind of got replaced by Professor's Letter, so we didn't care. But now it's gone. And here's the thing, right? Maybe you're thinking for Energy Search, like I did for a lot of the time, what's the point? And in sometimes, fine, what is the point? Because let's say you're playing something like a Buzzwole deck. Well, the only basic energy you're going to be playing is going to be basic fighting energy. So if you want to play an Energy Search, just play an 8th fighting energy, or, 1 more than you're currently playing. So if you're talking about naturally drawing into it, fine. But here's the thing. Sometimes we actually want to search for it. Now, there are Pokemon that will allow us to search for it. We've got Ribombee that sits on your bench, and then every turn you can search for 2 basic energy and put them into your hand, and that's quite nice. And we've got Oricorio, one of the lesser played Oricorio, the Power Oricorio, that still does see a little bit of play, that's got the same ability, but it's once when you bench it. But sometimes we have better options. And really, we're talking about Alolan Ninetales here. Because the new Alolan Ninetales GX, and I did a video about it with Buzzwole the other day, might even have been today to be perfectly honest, and I'm going to do a video about how it was really good. And I'm going to be doing that in a day or 2. But the thing is, one of these Alolan Ninetales decks actually played one of these. And Alolan Ninetales' ability, for those of you that have forgotten, you search your deck when you evolve up into it for 2 item cards and put them into your hand. And that is spectacularly useful, and it can be used for a whole bunch of things. See the Alolan Ninetales video for that. But for our purposes today, looking at Energy Spinner, which as a side note is clearly a fidget spinner, and this goes to show that it takes a while to design cards. When this was designed, it was probably in the middle of the fidget spinner craze, and everyone was like, whoa, that's awesome. And now fidget spinners have gone by the wayside with loom bands, and everyone's like, oh, I remember fidget spinners. But you know, they're out of date, hey-ho. This is an interesting card, and essentially it guarantees that you've got an energy card. So if we look at this particular deck list, it was a deck list that got 17th place, played by Shintaro Ito, a player who might seem a little bit familiar to you. And one of the things that's weird about his list, it plays so many one-of item cards. And the reason it plays Energy Spinner is, well, it's the only way to search for basic energy. It's the only item we've got at the moment that will allow you to search out a basic energy. So it's one of those, well, you don't really have much of a choice. If you want to get it, here it is. And sometimes you need that basic energy. If we take a look at this list, we're playing 3 fairy energy, 1 grass energy. It's not exactly like you've got a huge amount of options here. You're not playing much energy. You're probably going to need to search it out. That's where this comes in. And that's one of the things that energy search has always been really good for. If you're just playing mono energy, if you're playing one type of energy, then fine, play an extra energy. But if you're playing multiple kinds of energy, this becomes super, super useful. To essentially conclude with this particular thought, there are 2 reasons why Energy Search was a really, really good card. Firstly, if you have a way of grabbing items, so you can search for the energy. And secondly, if you're playing multiple kinds of energy, that's when it would be good. So I know it's rotated out at the moment, but something like a Skylar or a Corinna, which can search for an item card to get you an energy. The closest we have at the moment, and do correct me if I'm wrong here, I believe is Volkner, which does allow you to search for an item card, but it also allows you to search for a basic energy, so you can play Energy Spinner and grab it with Volkner and get 2 basic energy, but you know, you get an energy with this. But here's the thing, right? I've just been talking about it as an energy search, and most of the time, that's what it is. It's rarely going to be anything else. But there will be occasions where it actually becomes more than an energy search. And at that stage, it's very, very good. Now, it's one of these you can only use it on your first turn of the game if you go second things. It's not something you can do all that often. But it lets you search for free basic energy. Now, if you use this too early on in your turn, then you might end up, not being able to draw cards of a Rangaroo or something of that nature. But otherwise, this does multiple good things. Firstly, it gets you an energy for the turn. Secondly, it gets you energy for subsequent turns. And thirdly, it thins out your deck a little bit. So by searching for free energy, there's now 3 fewer cards in deck, which means you're more likely to draw something like that Cynthia that you want next turn. But then there are some decks like Malamar, for instance, which are going to absolutely love this. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're playing Malamar, and you draw an Energy Spinner and an Ultra Ball in your opening hand. Well, that's utterly over-the-top phenomenal. You use Energy Spinner to grab free basic energy, you attach 1 as your attachment for the turn, you then discard the other 2 with Ultra Ball, and then when you evolve up into Malamar, there's 2 energy in the discard to accelerate. Or you could do the same thing with Naganadel, which was amazing at the Champions League this past weekend, whereby it's got an ability, once during your turn, you can attach a basic energy from your discard to Malamar. It's one of these decks like the Wait and See Hammer we looked at the other day. Wait and See Hammer is literally Sneasel's attack in an item card. If you go second, on your first turn, you can remove an energy that your opponent played. Okay, cool. And it's kind of like that. It's a one-of. You're not ever going to play more than one of these in your deck unless you really want to play multiple energy searches. But it's great if you draw it turn 1, especially in a deck where you want to discard energy, or even like a Magnezone deck where next turn you're going to be able to attach loads of energy. Maybe you use this turn 1, and then turn 2 you've already got at least 2 energy in hand to start attaching with Magnezone. And it is still an energy search. And here's the thing, right? We don't have energy search. We've lost Professor's Letter. So actually, this is good for all the reasons energy search has been good in the past. And with cards like Alolan Ninetales running around, I expect this to actually see a lot of play. I expect this to be chucked in a whole bunch of decks for all the reasons that energy search was. And because it's great turn 1, and because we got stuff like Alolan Ninetales, I'm giving this 4 Wassies. I think this is a really useful card that's going to see a lot of play, and I'm sorry it's taken me this long to bring it to you. But I want to know what you think about Energy Spinner, so do make sure you pop your thoughts down in the comment section. Go nuts! But do remember the rule, please, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.